What if I told you that the single most dangerous thing for your kidneys is not what you think? It is not alcohol, it is not red meat, it is not even the salt shaker sitting on your kitchen table. No. The worst toxin that is silently destroying your kidneys right now is something you probably had for breakfast this morning, something you gave to your grandchildren last weekend without thinking twice. Something that the food industry has been sneaking into almost every product on the grocery store shelf for the last 40 years. And here is the part that really gets me. Most people have absolutely no idea. They are walking around with kidneys that are slowly, quietly failing, and they blame it on getting older. They blame it on genetics. They blame it on bad luck. But the truth is, every single day, millions of Americans are poisoning their kidneys with this one substance, and nobody is talking about it. My name is Dr. Raymond Arens, and I have spent my career studying and treating kidney disease. I have seen patients walk into my office who looked perfectly healthy on the outside, but when I ran their labs, their kidneys were barely working at 50% capacity. And when I dug into their diet, when I really looked at what they were eating and drinking every single day, the answer was staring us both in the face. Today, I am going to reveal to you the worst toxins that are slowly destroying your kidneys. Some of these will shock you. Some of them are things your own doctor may have never warned you about. And I am going to show you exactly what the science says, with real studies, real numbers, and real patient stories, so you can protect yourself and the people you love starting today. Now, before I get into the list, I need you to understand something important. Your kidneys are not just some background organs doing a boring job. Think of your kidneys as the most sophisticated water treatment plant ever designed. Every single day, these two organs, each one no bigger than your fist, filter approximately 50 gallons of blood. 50 gallons. That is like filling up a bathtub from start to finish every single day of your life without ever taking a day off. Your kidneys remove waste, balance your fluids, regulate your blood pressure, help produce red blood cells, and even keep your bones strong. When they start to fail, everything falls apart. Your blood pressure goes haywire. Toxins build up. Your bones weaken. Your heart struggles. It is like pulling the foundation out from under a house. Eventually, the whole thing comes down. And here is what scares me the most as a doctor. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, more than 35 million Americans are living with chronic kidney disease right now. That is more than 1 in 7 adults. But 9 out of 10 of them do not even know they have it. 9 out of 10. That means right now, as you are watching this video, there is a very good chance that you or someone you love has kidney damage and does not even realize it. So listen carefully, because what I am about to share with you could literally save your kidneys and your life. I have organized the worst kidney toxins from concerning to absolutely devastating, and the number one worst offender at the end might just change the way you eat forever. Let us start. Number 5. Excess sodium, the silent kidney crusher. Now, I know what you are thinking. Salt? That is nothing new. Everybody knows salt is bad, but here is what most people do not understand. The problem is not the salt shaker on your table. The real problem is the hidden sodium that is packed into almost everything you buy at the grocery store. Think of it this way. Imagine your kidneys are like a pair of sponges that are constantly wringing out water and waste from your blood. Now imagine you keep pouring salt water over those sponges. At first they can handle it. They squeeze and filter and keep things clean. But over time, as the salt keeps coming and coming, those sponges start to get stiff. They get tired. They cannot squeeze as hard anymore. That is exactly what happens to your kidneys when you eat too much sodium day after day, year after year. According to Harvard School of Public Health, the average American consumes about 3,300 milligrams of sodium per day. That is almost 50% more than the recommended limit, and roughly 75% of that sodium is not coming from the salt shaker. It is hiding in processed foods, canned soups, deli meats, frozen dinners, bread, and even breakfast cereal. A major study published in the Clinical Kidney Journal, reviewing data from the chronic renal insufficiency cohort, followed nearly 4,000 patients with chronic kidney disease for almost 7 years. They found a clear, direct relationship between higher sodium intake and faster progression of kidney disease. The patients who consumed the most sodium had a significantly higher risk of their kidney disease getting worse and a higher risk of cardiovascular events like heart attacks and strokes. I had a patient, James, 62 years old, retired firefighter from Ohio. Strongest man you would ever meet. He came to see me because his legs were swelling up and he was getting short of breath. His blood pressure was through the roof at 180/110. When I looked at his labs, his kidney function was down to about 40%. He could not believe it. He said, "Dr. Arens, I do not even add salt to my food," and he was telling the truth. He was not using the salt shaker. But when we went through his diet together, we discovered that his daily routine of canned soup for lunch, deli turkey sandwiches, frozen dinners at night, and a bag of chips in between was giving him close to 5,000 milligrams of sodium every single day, more than double the recommended amount. Within 6 months of cutting back on those hidden sodium sources, switching to fresh vegetables, cooking at home more, and reading labels carefully, James brought his blood pressure down to 140/85, and his kidney function actually stabilized. That is the power of paying attention to what you eat. So here is my advice. Start reading nutrition labels today. Look for the sodium content. Aim for less than 2,000 milligrams per day. Choose fresh or frozen vegetables without added salt. Season your food with herbs, spices, garlic, and lemon instead of the salt shaker. Your kidneys will thank you. But what I'm about to tell you next is even more dangerous than salt, and almost nobody sees it coming. Number 4. Over-the-counter pain medications. The pills you trust that are betraying your kidneys. This one breaks my heart, because I see it every single week in my practice. Good, honest, hard-working people who take ibuprofen or naproxen like they are candy, and they have no idea they are slowly destroying their kidneys. I am talking about non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, which doctors call NSAIDs. You know them by their brand names. Advil, Motrin, Aleve. You can buy them at any gas station, any grocery store, any pharmacy without a prescription. And because they are so easy to get, people assume they are completely safe. But they are not. Not for your kidneys. Here is how it works. Think of your kidneys like a garden that needs a constant flow of water through a hose to stay alive. Inside your kidneys, there are tiny chemicals called prostaglandins that work like little valves on that hose, keeping the water flowing at just the right pressure. When you take an NSAID, it shuts down those valves. The blood flow to your kidneys drops. And if this happens over and over again, day after day, week after week, those delicate kidney tissues start to die from lack of blood flow. It is like turning off the water to your garden in the middle of July and then wondering why everything is brown and dead. A comprehensive review published in the journal Pharmacology and Therapeutics examined over 7,000 cases of NSAID-associated kidney injury. They found that ibuprofen was responsible for nearly 47% of all reported cases of kidney damage from these drugs. And the most alarming finding was that the majority of kidney injury events, almost 80%, occurred within the first 30 days of use. The National Kidney Foundation has been clear about this. If your kidney function is already reduced, meaning your estimated glomerular filtration rate, which is basically a measure of how well your kidneys are filtering your blood, is below 60, you should avoid NSAIDs entirely. But here is the problem. Remember what I told you earlier? 9 out of 10 people with kidney disease do not know they have it, so millions of Americans are taking ibuprofen regularly without realizing their kidneys are already compromised. Let me tell you about Linda. She was 64, a retired school teacher from Michigan. Wonderful woman. She had arthritis in her knees and had been taking 400 milligrams of ibuprofen 3 times a day, every single day, for over 2 years. Her primary care doctor never checked her kidney function during that time. When she finally came to me with swollen ankles and fatigue, her kidney function was down to 28%. 28%. She was heading toward dialysis, and she had no idea the pills she trusted to help her knee pain were the ones responsible. We took her off the ibuprofen immediately, worked with her rheumatologist to find safer alternatives for her pain, and over the next year, her kidney function improved slightly to about 34%. But she will never get back to where she was. That damage is largely permanent. So please, if you are taking ibuprofen, naproxen, or any NSAID regularly, talk to your doctor about your kidney function. Get your labs checked. Ask about safer alternatives like acetaminophen, which is Tylenol, that does not affect kidney blood flow the same way. This is especially important if you are over 65, have high blood pressure, diabetes, or are taking blood pressure medications. Now, are you still with me? Good. Because what comes next at number 3 might be the most surprising one on this entire list. Number 3, processed and red meat. The protein trap that overloads your kidneys. Now, I am not here to tell you that you can never eat a steak again. That is not what the science says, and that is not what I tell my patients. But what the research is showing us very clearly is that the amount and type of meat you eat matters enormously for your kidneys, especially if you are over 50. Think of your kidneys like a coffee filter. Every time you eat protein, your kidneys have to work to process the waste products that come from breaking it down. A regular cup of coffee is no problem for that filter. But if you are running cup after cup after cup of thick, heavy, muddy coffee through that same tiny filter, day after day, eventually it is going to clog up and break down. That is what happens when you overload your kidneys with too much protein, especially from red and processed meat. A landmark study published in the Journal of Renal Nutrition followed nearly 5,000 adults over several years as part of the Tehran lipid and glucose study. They found that people who consumed the most total red meat had a 73% higher risk of developing chronic kidney disease compared to those who ate the least. But it gets worse. Those who ate the most processed meat, we are talking hot dogs, bacon, sausage, deli meats, had a 99% higher risk. That is almost double the risk just from processed meat. And this was not an isolated finding. A separate large-scale study from the Singapore Chinese Health Study, involving over 63,000 adults followed for more than 15 years, found a strong dose-dependent relationship between red meat intake and end-stage renal disease. The more red meat people ate, the higher their risk of complete kidney failure. But here is the good news from that same study. Replacing just one serving of red meat per day with a serving of chicken, fish, legumes, or tofu was associated with a significantly lower risk. The mechanisms behind this are fascinating. Red meat, especially when processed, produces high levels of substances called advanced glycation end products, or AGEs. Your kidneys are the main organs responsible for clearing these AGEs from your blood. When there are too many of them, they start causing inflammation and damage to the delicate filtering structures inside the kidneys. Processed meats also contain large amounts of sodium, phosphorus additives, and nitrites that put additional strain on already hard-working kidneys. I remember Robert, 71, a retired truck driver from Texas. This man loved his meat, bacon and eggs every morning, ham sandwich for lunch, steak or pork chops for dinner. When he came to me, his kidney function was at 35%. His phosphorus levels were elevated, his blood pressure was high, and he was retaining fluid. I sat down with him and had an honest conversation. I did not tell him to become a vegetarian. I told him to cut his red meat down to 2 or 3 servings per week instead of 2 or 3 servings per day. I told him to swap some of those meat meals for fish, chicken, beans, and lentils. I told him to read labels on deli meats and hot dogs and see just how much sodium and phosphorus additives were hiding in there. 6 months later, Robert came back smiling. His kidney function had stabilized at 36%. His phosphorus levels were normal. His blood pressure was down. And you know what he told me? He said, "Doc, I actually feel better eating this way. I have more energy. I am sleeping better. I did not have to give up meat. I just had to be smarter about it." Now, before I tell you about number 2 on our list, I need to ask you something. If you are learning something new today, if this information is opening your eyes to things you did not know about your kidney health, please do me a favor. Hit that like button right now. It takes 1 second, and it helps this video reach more people who need to hear this. And if you have not subscribed to this channel yet, go ahead and do that too, because I have a lot more videos like this one coming that could save your life or the life of someone you love. Drop a comment telling me where you are watching from. I would love to know how far this message is reaching. I read every single comment, and I appreciate every single one of you. All right, let us keep going, because number 2 is something that has been lurking in the American diet for decades, and the damage it is doing is absolutely staggering. Number 2, ultra-processed foods, the modern-day kidney poison hiding in your pantry. Now, this one goes beyond just one ingredient. Ultra-processed foods are a category, and they include things like packaged snack cakes, cookies, chips, frozen pizza, instant noodles, sugary cereals, fast food burgers, chicken nuggets, flavored yogurt, protein bars, and even many so-called health foods that come in a package with a long list of ingredients you cannot pronounce. Here is the thing about ultra-processed foods that makes them so dangerous for your kidneys. It is not just one bad ingredient, it is a toxic cocktail of problems all rolled into one convenient package. High sodium, high sugar, phosphorus additives, advanced glycation end products, artificial preservatives, food dyes, emulsifiers that damage your gut lining. All of these work together to create a perfect storm of kidney destruction. A comprehensive review published in the Clinical Kidney Journal by researchers from the Karolinska Institute in Sweden and the Federal University of São Paulo in Brazil laid out the evidence in devastating detail. They found that ultra-processed foods contain dramatically higher levels of advanced glycation end products, which, as I mentioned earlier, are cleared by the kidneys and cause direct damage to kidney structures when they accumulate. They also found that the high sodium content in ultra-processed foods alters the renal and vascular systems and increases oxidative stress, regardless of changes in blood pressure. That means, even if your blood pressure looks fine on paper, the ultra-processed foods are still damaging your kidneys through other pathways. But here is what really shocked me. The researchers also highlighted that many of the additives used in ultra-processed food manufacturing, including sodium nitrite, titanium dioxide, and bisphenol from packaging, have been shown to negatively affect the gut microbiome, and an unhealthy gut leads to increased inflammation throughout the body, including in the kidneys. It is a chain reaction. The food damages your gut. Your gut leaks inflammatory substances into your bloodstream. Those substances travel to your kidneys, and your kidneys take the hit. According to data from the National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey, ultra-processed foods now make up nearly 60% of the total caloric intake of the average American adult. 60%. More than half of everything we eat comes from a factory, not a farm. Patricia, 69, came to see me after her primary care doctor found protein in her urine during a routine checkup. She was not diabetic. Her blood pressure was borderline but not terrible. She did not drink alcohol. She did not smoke. On the surface, there was no obvious reason for her kidneys to be leaking protein, but when I asked her to keep a food diary for 2 weeks, the picture became clear. Breakfast was a bowl of sugary cereal with flavored coffee creamer. Lunch was a microwaved frozen meal or a fast food sandwich. Afternoon snack was a protein bar or crackers with cheese spread from a jar. Dinner was often a frozen pizza or takeout. Almost every single thing she ate came from a package or a drive-through window. We worked together to gradually replace those ultra-processed foods with whole, real foods. Fresh fruits, vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins, nuts. She did not have to become a chef. We kept it simple. Within 4 months, the protein in her urine had decreased significantly, and her kidney function numbers actually improved. She told me she felt 10 years younger, and all we did was change the quality of her food. So here is what I want you to do. Take a look at your kitchen right now, in your mind. How many of the items in your pantry and freezer come in a box, a bag, or a plastic container with a list of 20 or 30 ingredients? If the answer is most of them, it is time to start making changes. You do not have to do it all at once. Start by replacing one ultra-processed item per week with a whole food alternative. Over time, those small changes add up to massive protection for your kidneys. And now, we have arrived at the #1 worst toxin for your kidneys. This is the big one. This is the one that the food industry does not want you to know about. This is the substance that has been linked to the explosion of chronic kidney disease in America over the last 4 decades. And the chances are very high that you consumed it today. #1, added sugar, and especially fructose from sugary drinks, the silent kidney killer that America cannot quit. I cannot overstate how important this is. If there is one thing you take away from this entire video, let it be this. The added sugar in your diet, particularly the fructose found in soda, fruit-flavored drinks, sweet tea, energy drinks, and countless packaged foods, is arguably the single worst thing you can put in your body if you care about your kidneys. Let me explain why, and I want you to really visualize this. Imagine your kidneys are like 2 incredibly delicate filtration systems made up of millions of tiny microscopic strainers. These strainers, which doctors call glomeruli, are so small you cannot see them with the naked eye, but they do an enormous job every second of every day. Now imagine pouring thick, sticky syrup through those tiny strainers over and over and over. What happens? They get clogged, they get inflamed, they get scarred, and eventually they stop working. That is essentially what excess sugar, and especially fructose, does to your kidneys. A comprehensive review published in the Journal of Metabolic Health laid out the evidence in startling detail. The researchers documented how the intake of refined sugar in the United States went from 4 pounds per person per year in 1776 to 120 pounds of added sugars per person per year by 2002. 120 pounds. Let that sink in. That is a 30-fold increase. And during that exact same time period, chronic kidney disease rates have skyrocketed. But it is not just correlation. The science has uncovered the mechanisms. Fructose, which is the primary sugar in high fructose corn syrup and a major component of table sugar, has been shown to cause direct damage to kidney structures in multiple ways. First, fructose raises uric acid levels in the blood. High uric acid is like sandpaper scraping through those delicate kidney filters. It causes inflammation, promotes the formation of kidney stones, and accelerates the scarring and hardening of kidney tissue. A study published in the American Journal of Kidney Diseases using data from the National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey showed that people who drank 2 or more sugary sodas per day had significantly higher rates of protein in their urine, which is a key marker of kidney damage. Second, fructose drives insulin resistance, weight gain, and metabolic syndrome, which are the very conditions that cause kidney disease in the first place. It is a vicious cycle. The sugar damages the kidneys directly, and it also creates the conditions, diabetes, obesity, high blood pressure, that damage the kidneys indirectly. You are getting hit from both sides. Third, and this is something many doctors do not even know about, fructose activates something called the polyol pathway. When this pathway gets overactivated, your body actually starts converting glucose, regular blood sugar, into even more fructose inside the kidney itself. That means, even if you cut back on sugary drinks, if you have already activated this pathway through years of excess sugar intake, your own body is continuing to produce the very substance that is damaging your kidneys. It is like a fire that keeps reigniting itself. A groundbreaking study from the UK Biobank, which followed more than 127,000 adults, found that consuming more than 1 serving per day of sugar-sweetened beverages was associated with a significantly increased risk of developing chronic kidney disease. And when they looked at what happened when people replaced just 1 daily serving of soda with water or unsweetened tea, the risk dropped significantly. One simple change. Putting down the soda and picking up water. That is it. And the Global Burden of Disease Study, one of the largest health research projects in the world, has been tracking the burden of diabetic kidney disease caused specifically by excessive sugar-sweetened beverage intake. Their data, covering the period from 1990 to 2021, shows a continuous, relentless rise in kidney disease deaths and disability linked to sugary drinks. The trend is going up, not down, despite everything we know. Let me tell you about Mike. Mike was 62 years old, a retired postal worker from Georgia. Big guy, friendly as they come, and he loved his sweet tea. I mean, he drank it all day long, morning, noon, and night. He also had a 2-can-a-day Coca-Cola habit that he had maintained since his 20s. When Mike came to me, he had been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes 3 years earlier, but his blood sugar control was poor, and his primary care doctor was worried about his kidneys. His labs told the story. His kidney function was down to 32%, and he had significant protein in his urine. I sat with Mike for a long time that day. I showed him the studies. I explained what the sugar was doing to his kidneys, molecule by molecule. I told him that every glass of sweet tea and every can of soda was like pouring acid on his kidney filters. And I watched his face change. He did not know. Nobody had ever explained it to him like that. Mike did not quit cold turkey. We worked together gradually. He switched from regular sweet tea to half-sweet, then to unsweet with a squeeze of lemon. He replaced his sodas with sparkling water. He started reading labels and was shocked to discover how much sugar was in his orange juice, his yogurt, his barbecue sauce, his salad dressing. Sugar was everywhere. Over the next year, Mike lost 28 pounds. His blood sugar came under much better control, and his kidney function, while it did not dramatically improve, it stabilized at 31% and stopped declining. His doctor was able to take him off one of his blood pressure medications. His energy improved, his sleep improved, and he told me something I will never forget. He said, "Dr. Arens, I feel like I got 10 years of my life back, all because I stopped poisoning myself with sugar." Now, I want to be clear about something important. I am not saying you can never have a piece of birthday cake or a cookie ever again. I am talking about the daily, habitual, excessive consumption of added sugars that has become the norm in American life. The average American consumes about 17 teaspoons of added sugar per day. The American Heart Association recommends no more than 6 teaspoons for women and 9 for men. We are consuming nearly double or triple what we should be, and our kidneys are paying the price. So let me give you a practical action plan. This is what I tell every single one of my patients, and I am telling you the same thing right now. First, eliminate or dramatically reduce sugary drinks. This is the single most impactful change you can make for your kidney health. Soda, sweet tea, fruit punch, lemonade, energy drinks, sports drinks, flavored coffees loaded with sugar syrup. All of them need to go or be drastically reduced. Replace them with water, herbal tea, black coffee, or sparkling water with a squeeze of lemon or lime. Second, read every nutrition label. Look for the line that says added sugars. If a product has more than 5 grams of added sugar per serving, think twice. And remember, sugar hides under dozens of different names: high fructose corn syrup, dextrose, maltose, sucrose, cane juice, agave nectar. They are all sugar, and your kidneys do not care what the label calls it. Third, limit your sodium intake to less than 2,000 milligrams per day. Cook at home as much as possible. Use herbs, spices, garlic, onion, lemon, and vinegar to add flavor instead of salt. Fourth, stop taking over-the-counter NSAIDs like ibuprofen and naproxen without talking to your doctor first. If you need pain relief, ask about safer alternatives. And if you are over 50, get your kidney function checked regularly. Fifth, cut back on processed and red meat. You do not have to eliminate it, but aim for no more than 2 to 3 servings per week, instead of 2 to 3 servings per day. Replace some meat meals with fish, chicken, beans, lentils, and tofu. Sixth, replace ultra-processed foods with whole, real foods as much as possible. Shop the perimeter of the grocery store where the fresh produce, fresh meats, and dairy are. The more something has been processed, packaged, and preserved, the worse it is likely to be for your kidneys. Seventh, and this is crucial, get your kidney function tested. A simple blood test for creatinine and a urine test for protein can tell you how your kidneys are doing. If you are over 50, have diabetes, have high blood pressure, have a family history of kidney disease, or have been taking NSAIDs regularly, you need to get these tests done. Talk to your doctor about it at your next appointment. Now listen to me carefully, because I want to end this video with something that comes from my heart. I have been treating kidney disease for years, and the thing that haunts me the most is the patients who come to me too late. The ones who did not know their kidneys were failing until they were already at stage 4 or 5, facing dialysis 3 times a week for the rest of their lives. Dialysis is life-saving, but it is not living. It takes hours out of your day. It exhausts you. It limits where you can travel and what you can do. The tragedy is that so much of this is preventable. The choices you make today, starting right now, starting with the very next thing you eat or drink, can protect your kidneys for years and decades to come. You have more power over your kidney health than you realize. If this video helped you, if it opened your eyes to something you did not know, please share it with someone you love. Send it to your spouse, your parent, your brother, your sister, your best friend. You might just save their kidneys and their life. And make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you do not miss my next video, where I am going to reveal the foods that actually repair and protect your kidneys. You are not going to want to miss that one. I am Dr. Raymond Arens, and I want you to know that I made this video because I care about you. I care about your health. I care about your kidneys. And I believe that when people have the right information, they make the right choices. Take care of yourself. Take care of your kidneys. Talk to your doctor before making any changes to your diet or medications. And remember, it is never too late to start protecting the organs that are working so hard to protect you. God bless you and your family. Stay healthy. Stay strong. And I will see you in the next video.